Lamont Andre Taylor, Alistair Gamble,
Denise Lorraine Liggett.
I do miss the military.
In a heartbeat, I'd be there.
I actually spent a great deal of time, a great deal of energy making myself as good of a soldier as I could be.
I know that within a few days of September 11th, there were a dozen or so former service members who had been kicked out under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and they called SLDN and said, is there any way I can get back in? They just couldn't stand the fact that they had these skills, I mean, especially Arabic speakers and people with counterterrorism experience. They just couldn't bear that they had these skills and couldn't put them to use.
In the study group, we were going to make a cultural change in the military. And I just sort of reached back into my civil rights training. The information I provided was clear.
They said the same thing about blacks, that it would disrupt unit cohesion. You know, and it was handed down as an order and it was obeyed.
When Truman integrated the armed forces by executive order in 1948, people didn't think anyone was ready for this. The military, I think, is a leader now.
They had race relations courses. They actively took steps to diminish and defuse the bigotry, and they still are.
When I relayed that information was not used. What happens is that you get some high-performing individual who's done successfully well. Integrity is an important part of your service's core value. So on one side, we tell our people in the service about being honest, being trustworthy, and then on the other side, we tell somebody to lie.
You know, just like the one colonel in the Air Force, when she said, I'm going up for a top secret clearance, and someone asked, well, why didn't you lie? And her first response was, because I'm a soldier, and I'm going for a top secret clearance, so what type of character would I have if I'm lying?
I could never think of a plausible story that would require me not to lie. So, I looked at this situation and I said, well, all right, you're right. You caught us. We're in a relationship. But, he's a great Korean linguist. I'm a great Arabic linguist. What's the big deal? And he separated myself and 7 other gay people.
I got promoted on time. I did everything I was supposed to do.
Didn't miss a day at work.
They have to serve in silence. Well, this is an extra burden on these people.
I mean, I'm free to display pictures of my wife and children on my desk, but to a gay and lesbian member, they're put into a box.
The policy brings out the worst in a lot of people because it allows for bad behavior. And this is not just for subjects of the policy, these are for the people that are implementing the policy.
Because of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, you have soldiers that feel like they have to be extra macho, that they have to be extra arrogant.
The Air Force had offered him a deal that if he would name names of people that he knew to be gay, that they would reduce his sentence from life to no more than 18 months. The captain came out and goes, "You're in a witch hunt." And I said, well, I didn't think that happened anymore. He goes, oh no, because you're definitely in a witch hunt. I wasn't violating Don't Ask, Don't Tell. The Air Force was violating Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Michelle Beneke from SLDN had written the Pentagon that if you don't initiate this policy and hand it down among the military personnel, somebody will die. And that someone was our son.
How could you have due process when you have a representative from the military to represent you? That's not due process.
The commitment level that a lot of these people have that aren't even prior military is amazing.
They have been there and stood by our side to fight through all the red tape and the legal problems that we've had.
And I found it as a sense of relief that there truly is an external advocacy group out there that's looking at the needs of some exceptional people.
I think if you would lift the ban and let everybody who wishes to serve, you're going to have a better Army, Navy, Marine Corps, etc.
You you've begun to see voices inside people who carry weight and carry influence in terms of what they say are beginning to question and challenge it.
People with whom they are serving have no problem with it at all.
None of my platoon sergeants, none of my commanders really wanted to make the separation. They just sort of felt obligated by the policy.
So I think the younger leadership is fine with it. To be honest, I think the military would have been fine with it had we gone ahead and done this in 1992. When you finally give the military its marching orders, it does what it's told, and it does it very well. Whatever their differences are, they're very used to having differences, and they just set them aside, because you have to set them aside to stay alive in combat.
The people that we're discharging today, look at the citations of the awards that they've received for those fantastic jobs that they've done. Don't tell me that if you let somebody who does such great work and pull them out, that you're going to get somebody equally to put in that place overnight. It's not going to happen.
The pilot training, that's probably a couple $1 million. That has to be a huge loss to the military, and there's no real way to calculate it. But I think the people who are actually kicked out under Don't Ask, Don't Tell is actually just the tip of the iceberg.
You know, the most religious people who come up to me and say, listen, you know, I'm sorry, I'm religious, I can't deal with the fact that you're gay, but I think that you're a tremendous asset to our team. And you know, what the Army is doing is wrong.
To let any of those key members of the team leave, that in itself is what damages unit cohesion.
We're the only NATO country that has the ban on gays and lesbians serving.
I kind of laugh now when I hear that the military isn't being able to recruit enough people, because I would be in. I know a lot of other people who would be in, who would still be in, or who would join that won't join now.
We are the nation that's supposed to be showing the world what democracy is, what freedom is, what independence is, and yet we just still discriminate against people in our own country. What will help is seeing Don't Ask, Don't Tell overturned. That's what I'm fighting for. And, you know, when Barry told me to suck it up, Mom, and drive on, that's what I do every day.
The next step is simply a challenge to the leadership to say, listen, you know, the military is ready for this. The men and women who serve next to the gays and lesbians are ready for this. Are you, as leaders, as 3- and 4-star generals, ready to take on the challenge of integrating them in? Because everybody else is ready.